Yay! Wednesday Night Live, here we are. I am your host, Alara of Sirius, here with my friend Nicole Frolick, also known as Frolly Pop. How is your evening going, Frolly Pop? It's wonderful to have you on.
Oh, it's so good to be here, girl. I love you. Thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah,
And I know we're going to have a ton of fun tonight.
this is going to be great. Hello, friends in the chat. How are you guys doing? Can I get a 5x5 if we are good, you guys? I had to make a few adjustments on the tech, and I'm hoping you can see me and Nicole out there in the audience and not just me and a green screen. So let me know if that's the situation and everything's good to go. It's good to see you, Tessa, Blue Eyes, Rainbow Snuggle Fritz, Kate. Oh, see, I'm getting 5x5. Oh, we're good. See, I was worried for nothing. We're good to go. We're good to go. Hi, Alfredo, Rainbow Sun, Willie Moss. Oh, we got some new friends. Hello, Lieutenant. I tried calling him Colonel, but it feels weird. I can't even spell it, honestly. Yeah, I can't even spell it. It's a problem. Hi, Zachary. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope good. Hi, Queen Fisher. Yeah, so Frolly Pop's in the house. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Frolly Pop, we love that nickname. I don't know
Oh,
who came up with that nickname
it
anyway.
was it was Dave. It was Dave.
Yeah, sounds like him.
He's
Yeah.
he's got another one for me now. It's Frolly Squatch. After my big hooded video with my big furry hood, he's
Oh,
now calling me Frolly Squatch.
yeah.
I prefer Frolly Pop.
Yeah, we like it fits you because you're just I don't know. People have to get to know you, but you're Frolly Pop to me. I feel weird calling you Nicole. Excuse me, Nicole. It's very
I
strange.
know it's so formal.
Yeah, it's so formal. So yeah, where was I? Okay, first let me thank the super chats from last show. So Space Force news didn't happen uh last Sunday. Well, I've got a fly friend in here visiting. Because I was trapped in the snow and didn't put a lot of thought into my trip before I went. Thought I could get back in time, but that didn't work out because it snowed in the mountains. Imagine that. So yeah, super chats from last week. Big thank you to Chris Hawkins, our Cloaked Unseen World, Teresa Yakovich. I hope I said that right. Christina Love, UFO Mark, and Above Duality. I saw what you did there, Above Duality. So yeah, big thank you to you guys. Really appreciate the support and yeah. So Frolly Pop, it is so good to have
Yes.
you on. This is just so exciting. This is so
We're gonna
exciting.
have
What
fun. We're
what
gonna have
can I
fun.
add? I could just go anywhere with you. Okay, so we're gonna go into some different stuff tonight. We're gonna go into what Nicole's got going on and the stuff that she's recently gotten involved in and is kind of trying to educate everybody on. But first, I thought it would be cool if we could kind of go into a little bit about you for those that don't know you. She has a channel, she has a podcast called the Enlighten Up podcast on her channel, which is actually titled under Nicole Frolick. And you have moved over. You don't have a Twitter. The Archons are after, big tech's after. So you don't have a Twitter, and I don't think you have a website anymore. So can you kind of update us with what's going on with that first?
The website it's actually I've got a temp website up. It's just for some reason I'm getting issues with tech, which is not surprising me. I've had crazy Mercury retrograde tech issues in my 10th house, which is all about my business, my career. And so I'm not surprised my website got taken down as soon as Mercury went retrograde. I've got my website finally built, at least temporarily, while another web developer builds it. But now I'm having issues with my domain hoster getting my name servers to point to the other website. And I've now tried twice and they've said they've done it and it's still not working. So I just maybe have to wait till Mercury stations direct. I don't know. But yeah, I've got a website. However, if anyone really needs to find me, YouTube is the best place. And of course, I have all my links, email, all of that there.
Yes, for those that don't you know, Nicole is our resident astrologist. What all do so she has a podcast. She's like our astrologist. What else do? You teach classes, don't you?
Yeah, I've got a couple of online courses in my academy, my AlcheME Academy. The big one is my monthly subscription, which is called AlcheME, and that one's really growing. We've got about over 80 people in there now, and it's a growing community of people who are activating intuitively, wanting people that they can relate to, support systems for everything they're going through. People are taking their gifts and starting businesses, which I'm really loving to see. So it's kind of like a transformational shadow work, intuitive activation kind of program. And it's a really supportive community. So that is something I'm super proud of. And about a year and a half into that. And then, what else? Yeah, my podcast, my YouTube channel. And then I do tarot readings, and I work with a little bit of astrology.
Yes, I love her tarot readings and yeah, I like your tarot readings. They're amazing. And
They're fun. That's where my inner child gets to play.
okay, so what made you, everybody's got a unique story of what made them feel compelled to get on YouTube in their, I don't know how to put this, not so young years. We're not exactly spring chickens anymore. We're not 20.
No.
So what compelled you to do this, and how long have you been doing it? What kind of set you on that mission?
Well, there's a couple things. I started awakening at 17, so it's been like a gradual process for me, and then I've had bouts of it. And one of the bigger bouts was around when I was 31 and took a year off to travel and do yoga and Vipassana meditation and all this kind of stuff. And when I finally got back to working, I was living in the Cayman Islands, and I decided I didn't like working for other people. And I was like, I know what I want to do. I want to connect more spiritually. And I knew that eventually I always wanted to do life coaching, but I just didn't have the confidence yet to back me up into actually calling myself a life coach. Even though since I've been 23, that's basically what people have been paying me for, just under the guise of getting a massage, because I used to be a massage therapist. Mm-hmm. But I actually, oh gosh, this is kind of embarrassing. If any of you were to go to my YouTube channel and go to my very first video, it was me with black hair under a palm tree in 2011, I think.
Let me say a couple thank yous real quick. Thank you, White Hat, for your super chat. And thank you, Lieutenant Colonel. There we go.
Wow, Lieutenant Colonel. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Nicole.
Yeah, so I tried a video, and it was all about manifestation, and I was still kind of in 3D trying to do 5D, and but public speaking's been one of my worst fears. I've had to go through a lot of healing through past lives to activate my throat chakra on top of stuff that's happened in this lifetime. And I put one video, then I just did a bunch of blogs, and then I just left it, which I really wish I hadn't. I really wish I stuck with it, because that was like 2012, 2013, when YouTube was really spiking. Like, wow. I don't know where I'd be right now, but whatever. And then I left the island and I came here, and I was like, what am I going to do? And I just decided, you know what? I've got to start putting myself out there. And I know that I wanted to work with people from a spiritual basis, but I was really scared to do it, because I was really scared of what my friends would start saying, my family would think about me. And I guess one of my biggest, this is actually kind of crazy. The thing that actually pushed me to do it was getting red pilled as a semi-quasi liberal on the inauguration of President Trump. And
really?
And I put out a post on Facebook on the day after the pink hat wearing march. And I basically said, and this, I was not really into politics. I wasn't a Trump supporter. I was just like very neutral.
Right.
And I basically told all of like the females who were posting all their videos and like saying like power to the woman. And I'm like, you guys need to be careful, because you're allowing your femininity to be, what was the word I used? Hijacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And be hijacked and used in a way that was destructive. Mm-hmm. And you're actually using the opposite energy, and they were pushing them into actually wounded masculine energy. And I also didn't understand why wearing your organ that you don't want to be defined as on your hat is a symbol of power. So
yeah, so I don't understand that at all. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wrote this post, and then I also said, and maybe we shouldn't be throwing so much hate to the current president if we want him to do a good job. Just that, what you put out, you get back, and maybe you should just give him a chance.
Right.
Very neutral, like not saying like, because I honestly, at that point, I was like, take him or leave him. It didn't really matter. I've never had my phone blow up like that before in my life. I got told I belonged in a mental institution by people like family members, friends. They were worried about my mental health. I got attacked left, right, and center.
Wow.
And it made me cry. I just sat in my house crying because I'm like, why are people treating me this way just because I put up one post? And I think that initiated me into getting ready to just say, screw all you. You clearly don't have my back either way. So I'm just going to say what I want to say anyway. And that's kind of how I started my channel.
That's awesome. I get it. It's like a process. And once you let go of caring what other people think, it's amazing. Hey, Brad. Hi, Lala. Who did I miss in here? Somebody said howdy from Foxhole. Tony. Hi, Tony. Welcome. Blue Eyes. Hey. Kate. I think I already said Kate. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, it's amazing how when you let go of what other people think, however that comes about. I heard David Icke talking about this not too long ago, how that all that ridicule that he went through and people making fun of him, it just got him to a place where he just stopped caring what anybody thinks. And then it's like a liberation. You just get free. I've experienced the same thing. When I first started this, I was like, I don't want to I'm not doing this. But then the universe like forced me through you know what I mean? It forced me to do it. And now I'm like, now I let stuff go that normally I would have been like, oh man, I didn't do, because I'm a perfectionist, and it's in my nature. Now I'm just like, oh, whatever. You know what I mean? There's a freedom in that. I love that.
Well, you know what I've realized? Why give your energy into trying to please people who, as soon as you try to have one opinion that's your own, they turn on you. It's like the cancel culture. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm not investing in that. I'm not investing in that 1 second. So it's hard, because no one wants to be, can I swear on this show? I don't know.
Yeah. Just try not to drop a bunch of F-bombs, but yeah.
No, I was going to say like, just, I don't care. Like people shit on me. Like it's right.
I would have said pussy
part of
hat.
the nature.
I would have said pussy. Yeah.
I don't want to like
try
offend
to keep
any of your listeners.
Family friendly, but yeah, I mean, I would have said it. So you're good.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you knew what last week's show was like with Mary Ducina and all the lightning bolts and the
Oh, she was so entertaining. You guys got to watch that episode. What's her name?
Mary Ducina. She's my in-house astrologer on the show. I have her on like 4 times a year.
Yeah, she's amazing. I got to have her on. She is just like, yeah. I love people that can just, I love people that can just be them and it's okay. Like they don't need to like fit into the mold and they're cool with it. I love people like that. So awesome. So yeah. Okay. So Nicole, we have so many things we want to get into, you guys, like hope and freedom and sovereignty and taking actions. And we also were thinking about maybe doing a little bit of a tarot card reading, like Nicole get her cards and do her little magic and we'll see what spirit says.
You.
Yeah, and I'll do it.
Team.
Yeah, I'm yeah, okay, I'll do it. And then but I wanted to ask you before we get into all that. Wow, thank you, Kathleen Unger. Appreciate your support. She said let the beep begin. Okay, so I want to know cuz I'm sure there's stuff there. So have you had any crazy like ET or spaceship experiences that we don't know about you? How did you get so ultra? How did you get so ultra woke, Nicole? That doesn't just happen. Something has to happen there for that to happen.
I know. I think I may have talked about this once before, but I don't even know if it was on my show or someone else's show. I can't remember. But when I was in my early 20s and I was a bartender at this big nightclub and totally in 3D land,
Low vibe central.
Totally low vibe central. I remember driving and there was a little bit of like I would have had a couple of drinks. And I was home and where I was living with my parents at the time was in the country. And I remember I dropped my girlfriend off because we would bartend together and we go down to the city and come back up into the country. And I drop her off and she's like 10 minutes from my home. And I remember I dropped her off one night, and as I'm driving along this road that almost was like a dirt road, there was a really bright light above my car, like high above my car. And I'm like, where's that light coming from? And I just started to feel weird in the car. And I just had this eerie feeling that I could have been abducted. Like I wasn't, but I felt like that was a potential that could play out. And I started getting really scared, and I put my foot on the gas. And I just remember I was just a few minutes from home, but there was this light following me from above. And I don't know what that was. I don't know if it was malevolent, benevolent, because I was totally not where I'm at right now. I had a really dark 20s, you know?
So did I.
Yeah, but ET wise, you know, the most stuff has been happening recently, but I've talked about that stuff. I've been experiencing it more on the dreamscape than anything. I've been having more contact on the dreamscape. My dreams seem to be an avenue where I can be contacted more easily. I think I kind of get out of my own way. But yeah, I don't know how. I feel like I'm one of those boring people who has like a boring story of how I got to where I am. I don't know.
You are not boring.
But yeah, it's been like a series of different events, and there's been like peaks and valleys, and I don't want to bore anyone with all of that. So
it's not boring, Nicole. We so want to know more about the Nicole entity, you know? Show them your Frolly Pop hat, pretty please.
Oh yeah.
You guys want to see your Frolly Pop hat?
Yeah.
Look at that.
It's a little bit kind of whited out there.
See, that's why the cover of the show has hashtag Frolly Pop, because that's it. She's hashtag Frolly Pop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Alexis. Good to see you. Metal plated face job. Hi, Christina. Yeah, lots of friends here. Hi, Debbie. So, should we do some tarot? What do you think?
Whatever you want to do. It's your show.
Oh yeah, it is, huh?
Does the audience want us to do some tarot?
It's more of a joint operation tonight. You know, I don't like to be in control. Not all the time. Do you guys want us to do some tarot? And if so, what questions should we ask?
Yeah.
What questions should we? What do we need guidance on, guys?
Yeah, definitely.
So they say yes, please, but now we got to figure out what we need guidance on. And we will do it. You got your cards, friend? All right, no ideas
tarot,
yet. What should we ask about? They say yes to
who's got a really good question? Give us a really good question.
Oh, hold on. Hold on. Ken Davis just said, Alara, I can read your mind. Be careful. Oh my. That's dangerous there. You can read my mind. Woo! It's a party there. Yeah. Okay, so is Trump still president?
Oh.
What? Go ahead. No, what's your idea?
I was gonna ask because I know Kate's in the show, and Dave and Kathleen, and we are all watching that video I just told you about, that portal, that dark portal that opened up over Russia and was closed last night by a bunch of lightworker starseeds.
You want to tell us about that?
Should we ask about the portal?
Well, first you should tell them the story about the portal so they'll know what we're talking about when we ask about the portal.
Okay, so for anyone, I don't know if you follow Elizabeth April. I've had her on my show a couple times. She's an incredible starseed leader here on Earth. She's only in her late 20s, but she's phenomenal. She's really switched in, and she channels a lot of the Galactic Federation of Light. And she put out a video today to tell us about, I guess, an emergency meeting that she was being called into last night. And I guess there was a reptilian entity that was preventing her from actually communicating with the Pleiadians on a ship where she usually astrally travels and has the meetings. And she had to fight off this reptilian being first before she was able to stay on the ship. And the reason why that was apparently happening was because the reptilian being knew what the Pleiadians were going to tell her, which was about this Russian port, or this, sorry, not this Russian portal, a dark portal over Russia. And so she starts sharing like all of these details about this crazy portal that apparently looks like something that belonged to CERN, like kind of CERN-like, and how it was being used right now because of the high intensity spiritual war that we're having on this planet, that it was being used to bring in more dark entities to this realm. And so basically she was called into emergency meeting to help close like basically transmute the portal into light so it wouldn't be accessible or usable in the way that it was being used. And so she goes in to do that and is met with about a few hundred other Starseed light workers, and they were getting basically the crap kicked out of them while they were trying to do this. And there were angels there, and basically they needed to call in more help. She's like, there's no way we can do this, like just a few of us. And so apparently like thousands of us came in. And when I was listening to this video, I started getting chills because the last 2 nights, I haven't slept well at all. I feel like I've been purposely kept from falling asleep so I can't astrally travel like through my sleep. And there basically the mission was completed, the portal was closed down, so that's all good, but it was basically being used because, well, what I understood is that if that portal was being opened, and I was told, I got a download about it being over Russia, was because no one's watching over there, like they'd be able to basically come in invisibly, but that the dark is definitely nowhere near in control. I think it's fluctuating back and forth right now through different like timelines. I think there's a whole bunch of timelines playing out simultaneously, and I feel like we're falling in and out of many at the same time. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but it's crazy. So I thought maybe we could just kind of maybe ask a question about the portal. I don't know if anyone's curious about that. I don't know. And I know Kate has something to say about that, but I don't want to steal her thunder. So
Okay. Thank you, Brooke Van Horn, for your super chat. Thank you very much. Okay. So, well, I saw a couple questions in here. They would like to know about like Trump 2024, if he's still president. Of course, some our CIO, those type of questions. What's the deal with that? So we can address some of that. We can address the Russian portal. What do you think, Nicole? You run the
I'll do
show.
whatever the audience wants.
Yeah.
Ask your audience and we'll do what they want.
What do you guys think, friends? Okay, so where should we start? Let's do the Russian portal first.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's find out, what do we need to know about that portal that was open over Russia? What do we need to know about it? What was the intention? Yeah. What do we need to know? Well, let's just find out. What do we need to know about it?
Yeah, what do we need to know about it?
Find out. What do we need to know about it? Okay.
There we go.
What do we need to know about the portal that was closed over Russia last night? What do we need to know? Ooh. Okay. First card that came out is the 4 of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, getting a message about that, about the strength, losing strength, having to let go of something here. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, we have 4 cards that have just come out. We have the 4 of Wands, the 7 of Swords, the King of Pentacles, and then the 5 of Wands in 5 of Wands, all upright. Okay, let me just take a look at these here. So basically, with the 4 of Wands coming up here, there's a big celebration. Yes, the portal was definitely closed. There was some deceptive energy trying to sneak in, trying to get away with something. But with the King of Pentacles coming up, it's telling me that the energy here is too stable, too grounded, and too dependable. Like the grid is very strong here from all of the work that a lot of the light workers are doing. And with the Five of Wands, it's like there was definitely a huge battle. There was a battle actually for control, like of the throne of this power. Let me just clarify this Four of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, yeah, Page of Wands in reverse, which is telling me bad news, and also loss of spark, loss of energy or excitement of the dark side because of the closing of that portal. They were trying to start something new that they were hoping to get away with that Seven of Swords, but they weren't able to get away with it. Tell me about the Four of Wands. Okay, wow. So we have the Chariot in reverse, the Hermit, and then the Nine of Wands. So there was definitely a lot of resistance, a lot of battling with that Nine of Wands. It was very difficult. And the reason why it was not, they were stopped at the gate with that Chariot in reverse. Basically, that Hermit is stopping the Chariot as well. The Hermit is telling me that it's because of a lot of the light work that we're doing internally. And it's important that we continue to keep our vibrations high, our light high, because there are going to be more battles, is what I'm just hearing. Let me just one more card. Let me clarify the Five of Wands. Clarify the Five of Wands for me, please. Yeah, beautiful. The Strength. So it's interesting because this card, look at this card. This is the Five of Wands, and you can see like it's a reptilian type energy because it's dragons. I picked this deck on purpose, not knowing that this was why. Like I knew I had to choose this deck. And basically with the Strength card coming in reverse on top of it, it's telling me that the reptilian energy is definitely losing its power. It's dwindling. So that's good news. But I'm also being told they're not going to stop. Like it's not like they're going to continue until basically they can't stop. They can't continue anymore. Like they're going to try as much as they can. So, okay. So does someone want me to look into Trump? Is that the next one?
Yeah. So, what should we ask with regards to that? Let's just ask the general question: is he still in control, and see what they say?
Okay, is Trump still in control?
Or is, how do we word that? Like, I don't, you know how it is with cards. You have to word it just
you have to
right.
be very specific.
You have to be very specific. So, and really, I mean, because if we just say, is Mr. T still, you can't, we got to be careful how we say it, you guys.
Okay, so how do we say, is Trump still in control of the mission he started?
Does Mr. T still have control to some degree of the mission, right, that was started?
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
Okay. So let's find out.
Okay.
Like opening up with party favors right now.
Right? I feel like we're hitting
just getting the audience warmed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just going to get the audience warmed up for the other stuff. Lighten the mood a little bit here.
This is fun.
Okay.
I never got to do this on my show before. This is great. Tarot cards.
One more cut. Still stuck. Still in control to some degree of his mission. Okay.
I'm just going to call in protection around us.
Well, we got the Emperor in reverse. That's not a good sign. Let me see. Okay, well, interesting. The Star card just came out after it, though. Okay, so just from these two cards alone so far, the Emperor in reverse is usually someone who's, not in control or fighting for control. However, the star card is a card of a lot of hope, and it represents better times coming in soon. Like it talks about the light coming in after a hard battle. So let me just see what else we get. Oh, interesting. Okay, guys, we now have 3 major arcana cards. That's big. Because the major arcana are big energy cards. Like they're big, it's just big energy. To have the moon in reverse says something's going to be revealed. Let me just ask, what's going to be revealed? Tell me more about the moon card. The sun in reverse. What? This is crazy. These cards are coming out. You have the moon and the sun together, all major arcana. This card is like when the sun, it's like something like depression or like not good times, right? It's like lower times, lower vibration. Things are not clear. And so there's something about this. What do you have? TikTok? What does that say? Oh, come on, girl. Something's going to get revealed around the darkness. Tell me more about the moon in reverse. Oh, interesting. We have the Page of Wands with the Two of Pentacles. Page of Wands in reverse. That's interesting because the page, didn't the Page of Wands come up in reverse on that the card reading I just did about the reptilians being disappointed? There is basically there's going to be some sort of disappointing news. Now, I don't know who's going to be disappointed. That doesn't mean necessarily us, because the star cards here, all I can say with the star card here, that there is better times ahead of us, that we're coming out of the darkness. And this Two of Pentacles talks about this going back and forth, having to make choices, playing both sides, just really confused energy. I'm just kind of picking up that something's going to be revealed around the duality, and that it's going to be disappointing, and something's going to lose its steam or its thunder. I don't necessarily think it's us, but I don't know if that pertains to him. All I know is that there is hope on the horizon, though, and something's going to get revealed.
Just to add to that, now's the time. I've never pulled this card before. Now is the time to examine what you are giving energy and attention to in the back of your mind. If you're obsessing about being right, about old resentments or failed expectations about money, or about any other people, places, or things, these will be the source from which you create.
Okay, you just triggered a download. So what I got about that, when you started saying that, I instantly understood that this isn't about sides, and that we've got to stop playing the duality card of like liberals versus Republicans or conservatives, and get out of that mentality. Because if we're not coming together, we're not going to be able to do the work that we need to do. And it also, like you said, where's your focus? It has to be on what's the real problem. And I think the also that many are going to be disappointed in who they believed in.
This is about getting out of duality. This is part of the process.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. All right. So, should we do, I don't know, you guys, do you have one more really lingering question before we move on from cards and get into some freedom and sovereignty stuff? Let me see if there's any other burning questions you'd like us to do. Really, Nicole's the pro. I just try to tag along. she's the squirrel. I'm just the nut. You know what I mean? Okay, so I'm not picking up on any. Yes, we do need to come together. That's what the chat's saying. So they're not giving me any questions right now, but they're saying that we need to come together. And
well, let's talk about that.
Yeah. So let's get into it then. I think we're being guided to just go ahead and get into it now. So I've been hearing, okay, let me start by saying this. I've been hearing about this for a while. I have another friend I'm just so busy. It's been hard for me because it really takes a lot of attention for you to go in and start really looking into things, and I'm naturally, like many people in the audience, I have to really look into something before I'm all on board. Just because it sounds good doesn't necessarily mean, I'm going to jump on. I got to figure out what's going on. So that's the only reason, but I've known about this for a while. So it was interesting to have my one friend do that. And then I saw you kind of catch on to this, and you had your guest on, what was that, Tuesday night? So
last night, yeah.
Last night. Okay. So yeah, it was Tuesday. Hello. So yeah. So let's go a little bit into that.
Well, what have you heard? What do you know? What have you been told by your friend?
I know this is what I know. I know that we need to step into new earth, right? And this whole process of what we've seen transpire in the last couple months has really taught me to get out of looking out there when we need to be, we're the ones we've been waiting for. We need to create this new earth. So how do we take actionable steps to go about making that happen, right? And I mean sovereignty in every way, completely away. We talk about the matrix, that we don't want to be part of the system. We know there's hidden technologies. We know there's hidden medical cures. We know all this stuff, right? But we keep waiting for someone else to sort of fix it, right? And me too, right? But really, we need to be taking steps towards just doing it ourselves, right? So this goes from everything from breaking away from the system, which I'm going to let you go into right now, what your guest told you about, to, I've been saying this for a long time, is getting into our own communities where because at some point, we talked about this, Nicole, there will be no more going to the hospital for us. They'll cut us off. Once we do this and we form our own communities, they'll cut us off from everything. And we have to be ready for that. We have to be really ready to step into that life and creating that new world and starting our own schools for our kids and raising them in a way that's not indoctrinated and creating this world of freedom that we all desire so much. So I'll let you take it from here. Tell us about where you think this starts for us.
Well, it's interesting because I'm, through the last 4 years or so, I had this, in the beginning, in the first couple of years, I had this, I was like, oh, is there really going to be that solar flash? And I think the way sometimes it's portrayed is that there's going to be this solar flash. Everyone wakes up and all of a sudden the earth is new, and I mean, It sounds nice. It sounds like a really great dream. But that's not happening. At least I don't believe that would be the case. From what I understand, the solar flash is an awakening within us all, and that it awakens us into our action that is so desperately needed right now. Mm-hmm. A lot of us have been doing a lot of the internal work. We've been meditating, we've been raising our vibration, we've been forming communities, which is so important. But now is the time for action. There's no more waiting. There's no more waiting for someone to show you the way or tell you what you need to hear or whatever it is. And I've fallen into that trap myself. So I don't want anyone to think that I'm standing on my soapbox and pretending like I didn't fall into that as well, because I absolutely did. And so I basically came across through, we all went to Sedona in October, and we all met Matthew in that cafe with Kate and Tyler and Lala and we were there and we met him. And that turned out to be a much more serendipitous event than I could have ever imagined. And I mean, there are so many great things that came from that meeting. But this one in particular was he connected me with Dennis, who was on my show last night. And Dennis is the state coordinator for the Arizona states, for the state of Arizona for the American State Assembly, for those who are U.S. nationals. Now, U.S. national is very different than being a U.S. citizen. And last night on our podcast, we basically just discussed the difference between that and how when you're a citizen, you don't actually have the rights that you think you do, because your jurisdiction that you fall under is actually considered at sea, and you're owned by the Pope as well as the Queen and foreign entities that like the government's a foreign entity because it's an incorporation.
Mm-hmm.
So US nationals are under the jurisdiction of the land and soil under the United States of America, unincorporated. Okay. So you have all of your rights that are titled to your Constitution as a US national, but your Constitution doesn't even hold up under the jurisdiction of the sea because you're not even under rule of Americans at this point. You're under rule of like the sea, and all of the court systems, everything is under, basically serves the Queen. So I've discovered that one of the best ways that I can see, and this is what I'm personally seeing, there may be other options out there, but this to me looks like the most viable path for this particular country right now, which is going to be probably spearheading it because other countries are talking with the American State Assembly right now to learn how to do this in their countries. So to help other like places, help their people become more free and sovereign. And basically, you need to give up your US citizenship and revert back to the land and soil where you are no longer a commodity, you are no longer owned by a corporation, you are no longer an employee, but you become an employer of the government. Mm-hmm. And that government is actually still is supposed to be an employee of state nationals, US nationals, who are the employers. Mm-hmm. Now, when you go back to the land and soil, I've seen a ton of comments about this, and I think a lot of people are getting, they're allowing their egos to get involved and they're not fully understanding. But when you start to do a little bit more research into this and you start to understand, the person who's spearheading this is Anna von Reitz. Mm-hmm. And I was listening to one of her Zoom calls recently where she was speaking about how she's come together with two chiefs. One is of the Lakota tribe and the other one is, I can't remember the other name, but they're basically two of the biggest tribes. Okay. And they've all decided to come together to work in unison in restoring we the people. Mm-hmm. And they've realized that the land and soil is where we all come from. And that is who we belong to, which is the creator. So it's not like we take ownership over anything, so to speak. And I've seen some people say that, but it's more of like, we're governed by God, we're governed by creator, and the creator has gifted us the earth, the land and soil. Mm-hmm. So, basically, long story short, it's about exiting that system so you can restore your rights, become sovereign, have your protection, and start building. There's already a court system there, but start filing motions and in that court system, which is under common law and common law under America, and start taking down the corporations that are formed as fraudulent because they've never actually been chartered by we the people. They formed their own charters, which is illegal. You can't do that. And so all of their corporations, and they've got tons of them. Apparently Biden has his own corporation right now. Mm-hmm. And it's just, they keep running all these corporations, and then some got dissolved. Apparently the president of the United States Incorporation got dissolved on the 5th, and that doesn't exist anymore. It's been liquidated. But that doesn't mean, though, that then we're set free. It just means that corporation doesn't exist anymore. So it's a matter of going after the ones that are still active, taking them to court, telling them they either have to run according to how, that's right for the people, or they have to dissolve and liquidate, and all that money goes back to we the people in the land. So that's kind of how I'm seeing this go through, that we've all got to come together, and through coming back to land and soil, we start building our own schools. We start building our own hospitals. We start building our own wellness centers. We start building our own communities. Yeah. and doing it the way that we want, because this system sucks. Why even bother to try and fix it? It's so broke.
It's so broken, and we're slaves to it, period.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just like, let it die. Let's start from the ground up.
There's nothing that's
pure intentions
been more apparent this year than how broken and how corrupt the system is. It's really beyond repair. It's just, so we got to break away from it.
And yeah, and what the US nationals are trying to do is grab Trump's attention because they're like, we're basically the only people who can help him.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this part of the movement is trying to grab his attention to get him to realize, because if he were to come over to the US nationals, it would be a whole new game.
Right.
And he would have way more like latitude to do what he's been trying to do.
And I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I know very little about this. I really want to start going to Anna's meeting. So somebody will put the link in the chat. Anna has Zoom calls. You can, if you want to start, there's a lot to unpack with this, you guys, like a lot. There's a lot of educating yourself on the whole thing. So Anna has Zoom calls. There's different ways you can connect with different people. I think I'm going to have somebody else on next week who really, really is knowledgeable about this stuff too. I'm going to start attending these calls myself. But in my estimation, Nicole, like, once we do this and we all start to actively do this, we need to be prepared in every way to break away from the system. That means forming our own communities, pooling our you know, our resources and our time, and literally creating a new world. Because this isn't really, you don't want to just file the papers and live in a city and you're going to be constantly kind of in situations having to defend what you are now and what your rights are and this sort of thing. But if we all sort of come into communities together, that's when it really starts to change things. And that's where I was going with, at some point, as we do this, they're going to cut us off from, I mean, I just anticipate that happening from the medical system, from all this. But
they could, but we also can come together. The more numbers we have, the less power they have.
Absolutely.
The less, see, when you leave that system, you don't pay taxes anymore.
Right.
And so now they don't have your money. And now they don't own you as a commodity. So they can't even trade you on their stock exchange or market or whatever they're using, that they've been trading you under hundreds of different corporations, making money off you. They no longer have that insurance plan on you when you die that they also get to collect money off of you.
Right.
So now they don't have your money. They don't have your energy. They don't have your enslavement. Mm-hmm. So that in itself starts to weaken their system. But we need to come together in numbers so that it makes it even harder for them in all the different states to do what they're trying to do. And it's, you know, the law is on our side. And when you're under jurisdiction of land and soil, you're not under their jurisdiction anymore. Mm-hmm. Now, does that mean they can't harass you? No, they can. And they probably will to some degree, depending on how knowledgeable you are. And this is where it comes into the point where we all have to start knowing what our rights are. None of us actually even know what our rights are. We don't know how to stand up for ourselves. We don't know how to speak up for ourselves and basically use the power of our tongue, our own like Archangel Michael's sword, okay, to deliver truth so that someone else can't like do what they want to do with us. They can't manipulate things. The point is that if you know what you're saying and you know where you stand and you come at that with that energy, no one's going to bother you. Right. Or if they try, they're going to walk away because they can't do that. So it's basically, there's a lot here that we need to come back into our own power. We need to educate ourselves extensively. And we have to start building this new earth from the ground up, which is and it's already started. Like they've already started building their own credit bureaus and banking systems. And they're getting ready to give us our own passports. You can still travel with the US national ID card, but they're in the works of getting the actual passports for us by the summer. So there's a lot happening and it's growing really fast. A lot of people are starting to go here because when your body is no longer owned by the corporation, they cannot force the vaccination on you. They cannot force mask mandate on you. And if they do, if a certain business does, then that's where you have to say, okay, you don't get my money anymore. Right. And then that's where we start opening up our own businesses, that we start supporting one another and going there.
Yep. Absolutely.
So
it's going to take us all. When I say pooling our resources, I mean our talents, our abilities, our, just creating in every way, creating the new world that we want. And this is how we do it. We say enough. We're done. Mm-hmm. We're not a part of your system anymore.
Well, here's the really cool thing too, is that obviously it takes a lot of money to do what we need to do, right? Like you're building from the ground up. And a lot of people don't realize that as US citizens, you have so much money tied up in their exchange of you on the stock market or whatever exchange they're using under all their corporations. You're worth millions and millions and like hundreds of millions of dollars. And they've set it up now. And Dennis talked about this on the show last night, that they're putting into a system where they go into the Federal Reserve, like they have these forms, and basically whatever bills you have, whatever liens you have, debts you have, whatever you owe, you can then ask to apply the credit that is under your name that they've been using to wipe out all of that debt, wipe it all out. And so we could actually start using that to help build the things that we need to build.
So go ahead.
No, that's it.
Somebody just asked the same question that I asked yesterday, which was about disability. And I think people are thinking the same things. We break away like this. What about the people that get disability or a pension or this or that? What is your understanding of that right now?
From what I understand, you still get it. You still get it because, like I think Dennis said, for disability, that's an insurance policy, right? Like you're claiming an insurance claim. You'll still get that. You still get Medicaid. You still get your Social Security. You still get all of that. But you don't get stuck with being owned and being like, you could wake up in the middle of the night and they come knocking on your door and they can take whatever they want from you because you're under their jurisdiction. Yeah. You're not free.
Right.
And that's the whole oxymoron of this whole thing, is that so many of us think we have all these rights and that we're free, but we're not under the right jurisdiction. And that matters a lot.
Yeah, I think this is definitely where we start. And I know I need to really educate myself on this. And there's a lot of questions and there's a lot of, the links, I don't think I have the links in the chat, but we need to put the links in there for the resources people can go to learn more about this. But I think eventually this has got to, like, I don't know. I'm serious as a heart attack about this. Like, even with the technology, we have engineers, okay? There's people out there that they're not lacking in funds or whatever. If we just start building stuff open source, there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do. Once it gets built open source in front of everybody, there's nothing they can do. There's nobody they can single out and go after and silence and pay off or take out to stop it from happening. Like, I'm really at the point where it's like, I'm not going to beg anymore. Please decloak the ships, please. And yeah, disclosure's coming, they say. It's coming, right? And we know that when that happens, it's going to change the whole world because it's going to change the energy dynamic on this planet. But why do we have to wait for them to decide how that plays out for us? And when we get access to that, when we can just build it open source, it's done. It's out there. There's nothing you can do now, you know? Like, and I feel like all of this is it's all connected. And these are kind of the first steps. The first steps we take is getting educated about this, breaking away with the paperwork, breaking off into the communities, supporting and loving one another. Because there's a whole section of this planet right now, like actually a rather big one, that is moving into unity consciousness and love and service to others. And we don't need this format to have a fully functioning, wonderful society and civilization. We don't need any part of their system. So
no. And I've been thinking about how, there's a lot of people have commented on last night's video, and there's a lot of older people that are working with the States Assembly, which is fantastic. They've done incredible work. But I think there's a lot of us that have some tech savvy and understand that, videos are important. Like, there's a lot of PDFs and articles to read and all of that. And then they've got the Zoom videos, which are great. Those are the best because for me, I'm a visual learner. I like seeing things just absorb better when I'm like listening to someone speak and all that. However, I think like I'm kind of getting ideas, like people are like, oh, we need to see a video of a step-by-step of how to like do the form and like what are all the steps that have to be done, and just have a video that's on that website and people just click it and watch it and it's streamlined, it's easy.
Does this already exist, or do we need classes to be done? People that are kind of experts at this to start classes, maybe. I mean, do we have?
I think there needs to be classes.
Okay.
I think they're so overwhelmed because there's so many new people coming in that they're trying to they're on top of everything that's going on. They're trying to build now the credit systems. They're trying to getting the passports. Like there's been a lot of focus on just like the paperwork structure, and now they're working into the communities, which is great. We need that. But I think there's an opportunity to fill a little bit of a void and gap for those of us who are really tech savvy and know kind of like how to format certain things to help them out, that I think could be really useful, where people could, like, if they were just to have like an online thing that went through everything and people could just watch and then rewind and then go through, and it's like, it might be easier than having to read something and then not sure, you know, like, because there's a lot left up to, sometimes you read a document and you're like, hey, wait, am I supposed to do this or am I
Yeah.
supposed to do that?
Yeah, I think
So
I think we need class. That's, I mean, I don't have obviously the time to take that on, but that definitely the person that feels called to do so, and get super educated in this. I think that's really something. I think there's a lot of people that are interested in this and they want to know more. And if there was some easy, not easy, but you know, if there's some way they could go and literally take classes to learn about this and how they can do it, they would be all over
the
it.
best thing is
So,
to go on to the Zoom webinars every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Is the best thing that you can do right now, is go get on those Zoom calls with Anna and start listening. And they're archived. All of the Zoom calls are archived under the webinars tab under the American States Assembly.net. So when you go to that website and you click on the webinar tab, you go down, you'll see the link of how to join each webinar every Monday, and then you'll start seeing all the ones that you can start watching. And I would say, guys, if there's anyone you should watch right now, go to February 8th. That one will jazz you like crazy. The story that she tells about one of the chiefs from the Lakota tribe and what they put him through, the solitary confinement because he's so powerful, then how he was just freed a week ago. And how it's just, I don't want to go into too much, but then like Anna goes into this whole description of how to stand up for yourself in court and all of these different things on how to talk to people and what to say and, you know, what kind of language they use. It's like you get so much information just watching them. So I would highly suggest, you know, if you're like on YouTube, you like watching videos, those are like the things you should be paying attention to.
okay, so please send me the links to that stuff by email after the show, Nicole, and I'll add that to the description on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that everybody's got access to start learning about this stuff. We got to do something. Like, we can't just, I don't know, my days of sitting around waiting and decoding are over. Like, we got to do something. And I can definitely see how this could get us on that path. So,
I see it as a very viable path. And I will say this to everyone watching. When I found out about this information back in December, I immediately booked an Akashic record session with my friend Rebecca Rose, who's been my Akashic reader for the last few years. And she has been bang on about everything. And because I needed an objective, I needed someone outside of me to help give me some perspective here about something so big. And so I asked her to help like tune into this and what she saw. And the first thing that when I was telling her all about it was she started like going, oh gosh, she's like, why are all these reptilians coming in? And basically they were wanting to like, they didn't like what we were talking about. And in the end, like long story short, she saw this as a very well lit path, that there was still some research to be done. Because at this point, I didn't know too much about it other than like, is this too good to be true? Like, this sounds too good to be true. And I was also told, she's like, let me just look into the future and see how this goes in the long term for you. And she basically said to me, oh, wow, it's even better for you in the long term. She goes, you become untouchable.
yep.
And
See?
I was like,
Yep.
wow. And she said, and I'm seeing you in a courtroom signing documents and everyone's cheering and clapping and the reptilians were fading back into the darkness. Like they realize they've lost.
Yeah, with enough of us, it's game over. You stop playing their game, then it's game over. Somebody has to step out of the game, guys. We need to step out of the game.
Yeah.
And I feel so strongly about that. Bodhisattva Love is in here. So that's
Okay.
That's who I was telling you about. So Bodhisattva Love, you guys, he has a lot of information on this. He's like spearheading this stuff in the state of Florida. So he has a lot of information on this. He has a lot of videos on his channel. He has a YouTube channel. and probably going to have him on here really, really soon to talk more about this stuff. But he can definitely connect you with where you can
Yeah,
learn more.
I'd love to talk with you. I'd love to talk with you and find out more because I feel this is part of my mission now. Like I feel it that this somehow I'm involved in this, and I don't know exactly how, but yeah, this definitely feels part of the mission.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, I will add those links for sure, for sure. So I'm glad that we covered that topic. I think it's really important, that information, because there's just so much to learn about that. I know the only reason I haven't done it is because simply I'm not educated enough on it, and I haven't had the time to dig in. I need to stop doing that. Like I really need to get educated on it. It was just like a synchronicity when I saw you do that and bring Dennis on. I was like, yeah, it's time. We need a game plan. We need to roll, and this is the way forward. I just don't know enough about it. So
Yeah, like I don't know how this is all. Who knows? Maybe there is some other plan that's gonna, but I don't want to put all my eggs into one basket and then be left hanging with nothing, you know?
right.
And at the end of the day, if we don't know how to create our own new earth and we don't know how to take back our own freedoms and we have to rely on someone else to do it, man, the generations behind us are going to be so screwed as well.
We don't
Like
have
it's
time.
we don't have, we can't do that. We need to like ingrain it into our DNA. We need to learn it. And it needs to be part of it. Actually, this learning your rights and learning the law and all of that has to be part of the curriculum for everyone going forward. Like that's not
Amen.
like, you know how they've taken civics out of school now and all that, like that can never happen again.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. And I want to say Debbie's dropped the link there, the states assembly, the American States Assembly link in there. So guys, when you go to that website, you can also go to the tab 50 states and click on that, click on learn more, and it'll take you to a new website. And there you're going to be able to find who your state coordinator is. If you want to reach out to your state to find, and it's the state that you live in, okay, the state where you're planning to be, reach out to that coordinator, email them and tell them you're interested and how do you find out more and all of that. The other thing is when you scroll down that map on where you can find out who your state coordinator is, there's tons of links and information, and it's all organized. There's PDFs, there's books, there's all of Anna's articles that you can look up. There's a bunch of stuff there. Just dive in. There's more that it could keep you busy all year. Like there's not a lack of information there. So get yourself busy, start acquainting yourself with that information, get on the Zoom calls, and reach out to your state coordinator who's there. Their information's right there on how to reach out.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nicole, for starting to talk about this stuff and starting to talk about action stuff. It was so needed, and I'm so happy that you're doing that and that you're feeling called to do that. I'm really appreciative of you doing that. You know, this is weird times that we're dealing with right now. Super weird. And
well, I'm just blessed that this opportunity presented itself and revealed itself when it did, you know. And I'm like, there's no way. Well, one, if I were to hide it, that would just be stupid. I mean,
right.
There's no way you can hold on to this information and not talk about it. But like, yeah, it's for all of us to learn, and everyone's got to figure out if this is the path for them. And you're going to know in your heart if this is the right path for you or not.
Yep, absolutely. So before we close the show, Nicole, can you kind of tell us what you got going on? What's coming up for you?
So next Monday on the 222 portal, I'm holding my bi-weekly Starseed Technology Activation class that I run with Kathy Unger, who's in the live chat, I believe. And Kathy and I designed the class around, I tune into a specific star system and receive a channeled message downloads on what it is we're to focus and activate for that class. I also will coordinate it around certain galactic alignments, star alignments. And Kathy is trained in hypnosis, Kundalini yoga, and she basically, I open up with a channeled message and set the tone and with a meditation, and then she takes us through all this breathwork mantra movement, and it's basically about integrating all the energies, clearing your aura, activating your DNA. That's coming up on Monday if anyone's interested in joining. We do that bi-weekly, every other Monday. And then my AlcheME class, like my AlcheME course is like my baby. I love it. I love it because I'm watching so many people grow, and I'm seeing a community. When we're talking about communities, like this community is building and everyone's forming like these beautiful bonds and friendships. I'm seeing so many people support one another. And that's designed for people who maybe can't afford one-on-one coaching, but they want some sort of coaching and they can get it in a group setting. And there's a lot of different things that are happening in there. And then I'm also thinking about holding my first retreat later this year.
Yay.
Yeah.
I would so go to that.
So I'm thinking of host like a 3-night, 3-day retreat, and I'm still trying to work out all the details, but that's going to be something. I wanted to do it last year and I had it all set to go, and then the virus came. So trying to pull that off this year. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that's super exciting. Do you have any idea where it's going to be?
Possibly the mountains of Colorado.
Oh, nifty.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah. And of course, like I'm trying to get up to Ascension this year. I haven't been, and I think I'm going to try and get up to Ascension.
Man, you got to go. That's the spot in July. Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah.
4th of July with spaceships and space friends. It's great.
Yeah.
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 It is. It's the spot.
I need to catch me some Bigfoot vibes.
Yeah, I'd like to hang out with the Bigfoot entity. In fact, it's funny you bring that up, because so tomorrow night we're doing Conspiracy Couch returns with the Great Flat Earth Debate. Mark Sargent, David Weiss, me and Foyle. That's going to be fun. Call-ins. It's going to be like it used to be, but super. That's going to be a lot of fun. But the next week after that, after we start the first one, that we're going to do Bigfoot, right? As the topic. We had already decided that. So it's really funny that you bring Bigfoot up, because I've never had a Bigfoot experience. I want to meet a Bigfoot. Although I saw orange orbs at ECETI. I was doing, what do you call it? Falun Gong. I was doing Falun Gong, and there was orange orbs that came around me. Now, I don't know if those were Bigfoots or not. I don't know what they look like in orb form, but some sort of little entities, little light entities came around and were checking me out. Yeah. That
could have been. I could see them showing up as orange energy, because that's sacral energy, and they're so loving, like from that when you think about the sacral, that's the womb of the female, right? And that's giving life, and to me there's so much nurturing that has to happen in that space, and it's where our abundance codes reside. And to me, I could see them taking on that color frequency and showing up as that.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's what it was. That's what they were, So, I mean, I don't have a photograph, but I kind of feel like that's what was going on. Yeah, I have a fruit fly that just really likes me and doesn't want to go, and I don't want to kill him, so it's stressing me out. It's not stressing me out, but it's weird. I feel bad. Okay, so, yeah, I think we should probably cut it here, because I have such a packed week and even a packed night, so... Yes, thank you everybody for coming and taking an interest in this topic, and it has been an absolute delight to have you on, Nicole. A couple of quick announcements. Let's see. So yeah, tomorrow night after Journey to Truth. So I believe Kate is going to be on with Journey to Truth. They're having a panel, but I don't know who all's on the panel. It's like Barry Littleton and Kate and a couple other people, but I can't remember who. So yeah, directly after Journey to Truth will be the return of Conspiracy Couch call-in show. So that'll be 10:30 p.m. Eastern. And then the next show after that will be Space Force News, of course, on Sundays, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what time Journey to Truth starts. Do you? It's 8 Central, which is what?
It's 8 Central, yeah.
9 Eastern. So yeah, they go on at 9, and then Conspiracy Couch starts at 10:30. So yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that, and I want to say a big thank you to all the moderators, and thank you to the people who put in super chats, and yes, super exciting. Thank you for the friends that sent friends over, which I'm sure Trish did from 90 Degree Turns, and White Hat, I know he did. Thank you very much, you guys. Always appreciate your love and support. And on that note, I think we should say goodnight, Nicole. It's been wonderful having you on. I'm so glad you came on.
It's been so fun. Yeah, thanks for having me, and lots of love to your audience. And let's do this. Let's do this thing.
Right? Let's do it. Let's get educated on this, you guys. And Bodhisattva Love will be on here soon, probably sometime next week, and we'll go through more of this stuff, and we'll get the links in there, and we'll get her done. Let's get her done. Alrighty. Good night, everybody on the couch.